So as a business owner, small or large, how much should you spend on marketing? What should your marketing budget be? What should your marketing expense be? You're going to have to face this question many times, sometimes many times per month, because you're going to be approached by marketing, advertising companies that want to sell you some product or service that has a cost, and you need to know how much to spend. In fact, sometimes they'll ask you, what is your budget? How much is your marketing budget? How much do you have to spend? That's a sales question. We'll talk later about why that's not a good question to ask, and why, if you're asked that question, you might want to respond to it in a certain way. Even without being presented with advertising sales pitches, you still have to decide how much to spend for your marketing campaigns on your business. You have to figure out if you're going to do Google ads. Are you going to do Facebook ads? Are you going to do print? Are you going to do postcards, electronic media, XM radio? There's a lot of options out there. You have to do something. If you don't do any marketing, you're not going to have any sales, right? All of your sales comes from people who have found your business and they buy something. So how much do you spend? Well, here's the thing. If your marketing produces business, you should spend as much as you have. Spend $1 million on marketing if it turns into business. If the marketing is not turning into business, then don't spend any until you find something that does. And I know that's a little bit of a wise guy kind of answer, right? That doesn't answer the question. But it does indicate how you should approach that decision. Remember the benchmark 8x. 8x. That's how much you should spend on marketing. What does that mean? Anything you spend money on for your business shows up on your P&L as a business expense. However, you should not look at anything you spend money on as an expense. It's either wasted money or it's money you spend to get more business. So if you spend $100 on something, it's getting you more business, or it's required to fulfill the business you already have. For example, having a bookkeeper doesn't necessarily get you more sales, but allows you to process the sales and business you already have. So in effect, it does enable sales. Marketing is a little different. Marketing is designed to get more business, future business, increase business, business development, sometimes it's called. So if your sales are at a certain number and you want it to be higher, you do marketing. So let's use a hypothetical example of a business that does $1 million per year in sales. And it could be any number. It could be 100,000 in sales. It could be 10 million in sales. But let's use a number of 1 million because it's easy to do math. So if you have a business that does 1 million in sales and you want to do more sales, you need to do marketing. That marketing could come in the form of things you pay for, or even free marketing like content marketing, creating content so people find your content, then they find you. Don't confuse marketing with sales. Marketing is to get people to come to you or contact you or inquire to you. Sales is converting those contacts into transactions. Marketing gets the eyeballs. So if you want to increase your sales, you might say, well, I'm going to spend $2,000 a month on marketing. $2,000 more a month on marketing. Okay, $2,000 a month. How much sales is required to make it worthwhile to spend that $2,000? That's the trick question. You might say, well, if I make $2,000 in sales, it paid for itself. And that's not true. Because in your business that in this hypothetical example sells $1 million, at the end of the year, how much net profit exists for that business? Most businesses operate on about a 20% profit margin. Some businesses are a little less, maybe 10 or 15. Some more technical businesses might be 25 or even 30%, but let's use 20% as a benchmark. If you sell $1 million and keep 200,000 at the end of the year, or 20%, that means you need to sell 5 times in sales revenue, top line, to keep 1/5 of that in the bottom line. So your $2,000 in marketing you spend this month needs to generate $10,000 in sales just to pay for that $2,000, because you sell $10,000 in sales. By the time you pay all your expenses, your cost of sales, your materials, all the things that go into it, sales commissions to salespeople, at the end of the day, you only have 2,000 left over. That pays for the ad, pays for the marketing. So you broke even. And you don't want to break even because then you did all that work for nothing, right? You didn't get any benefit from it, right? So how much do you need to make? Well, instead of 5 times, what if you did 8 times? 8x. If you do 8x, that gives you a little bit of a margin, a little bit of a padding, because some of the things you do for marketing aren't going to work at all, and you won't know until you try it. So you have to account for that too. Some things are more speculative. So if you take your marketing times 8, that's how many new sales dollars you need to generate. So a $2,000 in quote marketing per month, whatever that is, could be sending out postcards, it could be advertising on TV. You need to have it generate $16,000 in new sales from that marketing. Also, make sure you remember, if your sales or your marketing campaign takes a while to get the results in, maybe it takes 3 months to start getting results. You need to take that first 3 months of $2,000 each or $6,000 and add that back in to the months when you do start getting sales. The reason you use 8x is because that makes the marketing sustainable. It makes it something you can keep in the long run. If it doesn't pay for itself, you're just wasting money. Now, with marketing, you're not going to know in advance if it's going to work, right? You have to do an educated guess. You can't just throw money at things that are stupid, but you will find some of the things you thought were going to do well don't, and vice versa. Some things that you might think are maybe a little bit low probability turn out to be pretty good. That's why you have to try different things. Start at a relatively low number, as low as you can, that's reasonably productive. Then once you find something that does work, how much should you spend on it? You should spend as much as you can. Spend millions. If you have a marketing campaign that gives you that 8x, instead of spending $2,000 to get $16,000, spend $20,000 to get $160,000 in new revenue. And then spend $200,000 on it to get $1.6 million in new revenue. See where that's going? So how much you should spend should be unlimited if it's productive. If it doesn't create any results, it should be 0. To start out with, pick a number that's money from your leftover profit from prior months that you're willing to throw away. Because marketing money is throwaway until you actually get a return on it. There should be nothing that you consider to be a business expense. Everything should be an investment in more business. Now, some people might say, well, gee, if I already have all these expenses and I get new sales, isn't it all just found money? Why do I have to only keep 20%? My expenses are already paid for. If I get 10,000 in new sales, I keep it all, right? Not really, because there are some costs that in every business goes into each sale. You might have to purchase materials. If you're selling, toolkits, you have to buy more tools to sell your customers. You might need more employees. You might need commissions to salespeople. Even if in the short run there's not additional expenses, in the long run you're going to have to hire more staff if your business grows. You're going to have to get bigger facilities. Your insurance is going to go up. Your insurance is probably based on revenue. So even if in the short run it's found money, you need to keep that 8x discipline in place, because down the road you're going to have to backfill these expenses to keep up with the demand. Otherwise, a lot of businesses get overburdened and they say, oh, we have too much, we can't keep up, and we have to borrow money or we have to backslide. That's because your expense margins, your expense structure, your KPIs are out of whack. So from day one, make sure you're at an 8x, or really even a 9x is a good, healthy kind of safety zone. I know you have an opinion about this. Let me know in the comments what you think about that math, that logic, that strategy for putting money into, in this case, marketing, but any kind of strategic business investment. What is your experience with marketing? Marketing is very speculative. A lot of companies that do marketing, they're the only ones that are making money on the marketing, because they're charging you a flat fee or charging you a monthly fee or whatever their service is, and they don't really care if you make money or not, because they're getting theirs, right? So you have to be the one who decides where you're going to put your funds, where you're going to put your money. Don't just buy from the flashiest, newest thing. Make sure it seems like it matches what your business strategy is and how it can get you more customers. And then you have to deploy your sales on it. You have to close those deals, get good conversions. That's a whole nother conversation we'll have next time.